I went out for a drive with a friend of mine and there were people sticking posters of my film. I got off and I stuck the posters with them. Then I told him, I said, ye meri picture hai. Then he took a couple of times. He said, oh, tumhari picture hai, all the best and all. Like, that's what happened. I said, see, in 1 month, 3 flops, nobody has seen. Obviously, people don't like me. Because this is with all the other actors who are all superstars and they're doing really well. I was the reason why they didn't want to see this film. Yeah, why should you be the next anything? You are you. And they are they. And that is the worst part of the job that we're in. He looked straight in my eyes and he said something. He said, do you know what to do between action and cut? Do you know how to do your job as an actor? And I said, I do. He said, that's it. Just focus on that. Haider is back! I came here to live my dream of being an actor and creating compelling cinema, giving people moments that they remember forever, just the way I grew up.
So are you guys ready? Ishq Vishk Vivah, Jab We Met, Haider, and so many more. Be it delivering strong performances or setting the box office on fire, we have seen it all with Shahid Kapoor. Welcome, sir. It's an honor having you here, and congratulations on 20 years.
Thank you guys. Thank you. I'm so happy. I was on my way here and I saw some Instagram stories and I saw all of you people and I got very nervous. I was like, oh my God, there's a lot of people. So I'm just happy to be here and I want to interact with you guys. I want to talk to you guys. If you have any questions, anything at all, you want to ask me anything, just go for it because this is all about you guys and I'm here so that I can engage with you also. Very happy to be here. Thank you so much for turning up in such nice numbers. It's always great coming to a college. I don't know why. It always reminds me of my college days and I get the fact that this is that stage in your life where everything's about to explode. So I'm sure there's a lot happening inside your head. So I'll be happy to talk about it. But thank you for having me and thank you, Ramesh. Thank you for having me, man. It's really nice to be here. Yeah. Thank you.
Shahid, so starting the conversation, before you came, I was just having a chat with them. I can't believe it has been 20 years since you made your acting debut. Can you believe how time has gone by over the last 20 years?
Yeah, I lived those 20 years, so I can believe it. Maybe for somebody else, it might be difficult because, you see me in small pockets of time, but I'm living my life. So I kind of have a clear understanding of the fact that it has been 20 years. I've lived every day of those 20 years and there have been so many different phases that I've gone through and life teaches you a lot. And I think that's the one thing that hasn't changed about my life. I always want to be a student. I never want to feel like a teacher, because then you stop learning and it's always important to pass it on and give back. And that's what teachers do, which is the most amazing thing. But I would always want to feel like a student, regardless of what role I'm playing.
Of course, I think the best thing about life is that we should keep learning to move ahead. I think that's the philosophy you live by. But sir, do you remember the conversations that were happening 20 years before? Like just before your launch, do you remember the kind of conversations that were happening around you?
There was no conversation happening around me. Nobody knew who I was. I was hoping that somebody will be interested in me and somebody will give me an opportunity. So it was a very regular kind of struggle for me and I had to prove myself many times, got rejected many times and never gave up because, now when I look back 20 years back, I'm like, yaar, I don't know, man, I was very thick-skinned. Pata nahi maine kaise kar liya. So you have to have a lot of belief in yourself. Even at a time when nobody else believes in you, you must believe in yourself because you have to prove to other people that you're worthy of their belief. Yeah, and that has to first start with you proving to yourself that you're worthy of your own belief. So you have to believe in yourself and you start working towards things. And you should never expect people to accept you just like that. Because that would be so boring, no? If people just accepted you for how you were, then where is the effort? Where is the story? When you grow up, what will you tell your younger brother, your child, your friends? What will you tell them? What was your journey? नहीं यार मेरे तो शुरू से ही सब ठीक ही चल रहा था और फिर एंड में भी सब ठीक ही हो गया और यही है मेरी कहानी. That's so boring. I think life can have a lot more happening in it. There should be many different phases that you go through. There should be many different chapters of life, that you have to kind of pass. And when you look back, it gives you perspective because it helps you understand that everything was always for a reason. And trust me, I heard all these words when I was 20 years old, and I was like, हाँ ठीक है भाई, ठीक है यार, मेरा problem कौन समझेगा? But actually it plays out like that. As you grow older, you look back and you understand there is always a reason for everything to happen. So accept whatever's coming your way, believe in yourself and keep moving. That's it. That's what I did. So there was not much chatter around me. Thankfully things have changed a little. So yeah.
No, I don't know how many of you all are aware, but you know, much before making his acting debut in Ishq Vishk, you were on the film set as a dancer on films like Taal, Dil Toh Pagal Hai. Was that the place which gave the birth to the dream of you being an actor back then?
No, at that time I was just very nervous because I was like 16 years old, and I actually had just started with SDIPA, which is Shah Rukh Khan's Institute for the Performing Arts. And everybody else was much more established and senior than I was, and so I was just very nervous because I was put into kind of like this group of much more established dancers, and I felt I was very young and inexperienced, and I didn't want to mess up. So I didn't care whether I was on a film set or whether I was doing a live show, whether I was taking classes. None of those things were that important for me. I just wanted to do a good job and be the best version of myself and learn, because I actually really love dancing, so it was my first love. So I was just thankful that I'm getting to do what I love, because that's very rare, and I think one should feel very fortunate if you can actually, firstly, if you know something that you love, because a lot of times you don't know what you love, it takes time, you figure out over a period of time, I don't know if I like this that much, is this something that I want to chase for the rest of my life? But at a very early age I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to chase. Dancing was one of those things, and then the performing arts kind of followed. So I just wanted to do a good job and be the best version of myself. Yeah.
So every Friday, like we are in an industry where the lives of people change on Friday. For you, it happened with Ishq Vishk. Do you remember the Friday when the film released? What was it like? What was going in your mind when the film released?
I remember the night before also. I went out for a drive with a friend of mine, and there were people sticking posters of my film. And I got off and I stuck the posters with them. And then, the guy who was taking the poster, it was 2 a.m, he didn't care, usko neend aa rahi thi. Then I told him, I said, ye meri picture hai. Then he took a couple of times, he said, oh, tumhari picture hai, all the best and all. Like, that's what happened. So I was like, thank you and all. The next day, in the morning, we went for the first show. I think we went to Sterling. I think it was Sterling. So we got there before the show started because, first film hai, we were more excited than the people coming to watch the film also. हम आके खड़े हो गए वहाँ पे. So I was there, the director Ken Ghosh was there, the producer Ramesh Taurani, my co-actress Amrita. I think 4 of us were there that day. And हम ना ऐसे आके खड़े हो गए जैसे line में खड़े होते हैं ना, hello, hello. When you go to a reception or something, how the family is standing na, to get everybody inside. We were standing like that, like stupid guys. And then the crowd started coming. And they just shook our hands. Hello, hello, acha aapki picture hai, all the best. And I was like, what's going on? This is very weird. This is not how it's supposed to be. Anyways, the interval of the film happened. And, people came out and we were still standing there like that only. And suddenly, everybody's behavior completely changed. They started crowding us and like they wanted autographs. And I was like अभी 1.5 घंटे पहले तो हम खड़े थे, हमें ये लोग इतना भी importance नहीं दे रहे थे, अभी suddenly कैसे हो गया? That is the magic of filmmaking. That how people view you, what you do in front of the camera between action and cut, how people see you, their perception of you can get altered in 1.5 hours to such a degree that they can completely treat you differently, And so that's actually what you need to understand. You need to know that I am this person, but that is what I do. And that is what people love about you. You should never take it like personally, like ये मैं हूँ. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं सोचना चाहिए. Anybody in your shoes would get that kind of love and adulation. So you should be thankful for the shoes that have been given to you, and that can only happen if you're very blessed and if you work really hard.
Absolutely. And so, I remember back in the 2000s, whenever an actor did romantic films, the straight comparison, especially drawn by the media, was he's the next Shah Rukh Khan. Will he be the next Shah Rukh Khan? And that
when you do your next interview with Shah Rukh, he'll be very upset with you. He'll say, तूने बोला 20 साल पहले लोग मेरे से compete करते, मतलब अब नहीं करते. Be careful with the words you choose. You know what business you're in.
No, अभी भी करते हैं, तभी भी करते थे. But I remember
better.
Yeah, always, forever, evergreen. So I remember तभी भी इतने सारे chatters हुए थे when people started terming you the next Shah Rukh Khan, next big thing. How did you deal with it from,
It's the worst thing that can happen to you. Yeah, why should you be the next anything? You are you and they are they. And that is the worst part of the job that we're in. That you must be like somebody who is already successful. if you are like them, by virtue of that, you will be successful in the future. This is the dumbest logic that I've ever heard in my life. You must be you because you cannot give the people what that person is giving them. They have an independent, individual relationship with that person. You know, it's like somebody who makes ice creams. If they give somebody vanilla ice cream, they like vanilla, then they only keep giving them vanilla ice cream. No, you have to be another flavor of ice cream. You have to make people like you, despite the fact that they like something else. And one day you should be so good that people forget about everything else and they just want to, consume you. And I think as younger kids, you feel a lot of pressure because you feel that you must live up to that kind of a comparison. And so you start shaping and molding yourself in a manner which is based on the comparison as opposed to actually finding what lies within you, which is original and different, and which is essentially all you have to give. So I think that's a very unhealthy thing which happens. It still happens and it affects people. I've seen they start thinking like that because you are so affected by the kind of chatter that is around you. So you should stay connected with yourself. I think the people who have made it are the people who either knew all along that this is me and I'm going to be me, or are the people who recognized after a few years of trying to feel a little lost that why am I doing all this? Let me just be me. And once you start becoming yourself and you start owning yourself, be your own sun. Why do you want somebody else's light? Every individual can be their own sun. Everybody is different from the other person. Everybody has qualities which the other person cannot have. So invest in yourself and what's original about you. And at least that's been my quest for a few years now.
But when did that realization come to you? I'm sure there must be a lot of pressure when you were young, when you were doing...
When I saw myself looking like a fool on camera, I was like, मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ? मैं ऐसे क्यों कर रहा हूँ? उस टाइम पे तो आप कर लेते हो. Then you like, ना मुझे अंदर से खुशी मिल रही है, ना मैं कुछ अच्छा लग रहा हूँ. ये क्या हो रहा है? You see yourself making those mistakes. And then that journey of believing in yourself, backing yourself, of finding things within yourself, honing your skills, learning to collaborate with people, expressing yourself in a manner that is honest and that is kind of organic to you, that comes from inside you. Whatever it is that from inside you is strong and intense and has the power to break through and make impact. Those are the things that you have to listen to. So that's what I started doing. And also you can't be result oriented. We all want the result. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to come first. Everybody wants to be in the spotlight. But by thinking about that, you're not going to get there. I'll tell you, I'll give you an example. So because, I'm an actor, at one point I was like, मुझे action films करनी है. मुझे action films करनी है, तो I must know how to hold a weapon and use a gun and all that. So I was like, I want to learn how to shoot. एक चस्का चलता है ना, एक thought आता है, यार ये मुझे करना है अभी. So I was like, चलो ये करते हैं. So I found somebody who had been teaching at a national level. He had also competed at a national level. And he said, before holding a real gun, I want to teach you with an air gun. So like, air gun? मुझे real gun पकड़नी है. What is this air gun? He said, no, come, I'll teach you. So I went with him and he started teaching me with the air gun. And he said, okay, shoot. And I was shooting and I thought, अच्छा होगा यार, मेरा aim, I know the basics and all. And it was very small pellets, they're extremely small. So small that even if there is wind, it can affect them, but they're extremely light. So it's an indoor facility in which you do that. And I was not hitting the target at all. So I was like, क्या हो रहा है यार? Why am I not getting it right? He said, what are you looking at? I said, I'm looking at the target. He said, why? I said, because that's what I have to aim for, right? And he said, I want you to focus on your breathing. And I want you to focus on firing this gun without moving your hand at all. And I don't want you to look at the target. I said, what do you mean? He said, just do it. So I followed the process which is required to get the result. And trust me guys, every time I focused on the process, I hit the bullseye. It was like magic. And it was this lesson that I learned forever, which was that if you follow the process the way it is meant to be, the result is a natural outcome of that process. You cannot get it wrong. It's math. But if you focus only on the result, your brain is not on what it should be focusing on, So focus on the process. The result has to happen if your process is right. That's what I learned.
I think that's the best explanation which can be implemented in all aspects of life, I think, in terms of focusing on the process. But Shahid, what for you, which film or which year for you was this transition point with regards to your choices that you made? Because you started off with the Boy Next Door films, and then there was this transition into another zone of Shahid Kapoor. So what was that point for you?
See, you can only be as good as the opportunity that is given to you. So I cannot take credit for my transformation. I have to give credit to the person or the people who gave me those opportunities, right? People who saw me beyond the opportunities that had been given to me till that point, right? So I started with a rom-com or a love story, whatever you want to call it, like a college film. And so once people saw me in that space, they felt, abhi isko yehi karate raho, isko ye aata hai. But as an actor, you're not there just to be one person, because then you're not an actor. The entire journey of being an actor is to play different characters, show different facets of your personality, delve into the mind space of different individuals in different circumstances with different, character traits, etc., etc. And I was really keen to do that because, my father, Mr. Pankaj Kapoor, had always taught me, he said, beta, no two people are the same. So if you're playing, if you're performing in movies, why are you doing the same thing in every movie? Each film must represent a different person, and that at least that should be the attempt. Then of course we'll fail. It's impossible for somebody to get it right every time. It's not going to happen. But at least you have to start chasing that, right? So I just started chasing that. And what was your question? Tell me again.
The transition point for you.
Bhul gaya main.
The transition point.
So for me, I cannot say that I transitioned. I cannot say कि मैंने ये change कर दिया, मैं ये हो गया. No. The opportunities came my way, and I kind of delved into them with all my heart, and because I was hungry for them. So whether it was a film like Jab We Met, or whether it was a film like Kamine, or whether it was a film like Udta, these are the opportunities that started coming to me, and then I started grabbing onto them, and people then realized, acha, he can do this also, acha, he can do that also. And now it's been like 2 decades, and now finally I see like people come to me with different types of films. But it's taken me, 15 or 16 years, of which the first 5 or 6 years was just doing whatever came my way. Because you're not established enough to think that you can decide. You want to work, you want to be on a set, you want to, support your parents, be independent yourself, run your house, be an independent adult and not be dependent on anybody, and kind of be able to take care of yourself and be of help if possible, to the people that you love. So that's real, that's reality. Our concepts and reality are not always the same. Concepts exist in concepts. Once we collide with reality, then we have to learn to bring those concepts into a tangible kind of possibility, So that, and then these films came to me, and I guess that's what transitioned me into different aspects of my journey as an actor.
But how easy or difficult was it for you to say no to things that you didn't want to do after maybe 6 years into the industry or 7 years into the industry? And how important is it for an actor?
I still think I suck at saying no. I don't know, like, I guess you should just say it. You should just say what you feel. And the people who are sensible people will understand that, that it's nahi samajh mein aaya. And there are certain people who will take it personally. Now, how do you get around that? If somebody wants to take something personally, then that's actually their problem. You should be honest to what you feel, because you can't do something that you don't relate to or you're not connected to, because you'll never really be able to do it. So stick to what your belief system is, and do what you really, really get excited by. And the people who you collaborate with will be people who have similar kind of taste or likings, and the people that you don't, anyways, I don't think you're similar enough to collaborate. So that collaboration would be troublesome, painful, and probably the result would also not be what you want it to be. So what's the point?
Absolutely. But and Shahid, there are some characters which are my personal favorite for my personal favorite. So could you tell me what was the process to get into these characters, and how did you first react when you were offered the role, the part? The first one is Aditya Kashyap in Jab We Met. I think that's a favorite for everyone.
Yeah. I remember Imtiaz had long curly hair, and he used to keep playing with his hair when he was narrating the script. So I used to keep looking, I was like, इसके बाल कितने अच्छे हैं, कितना good looking है, director क्यों बन रहा है? तो पहले तो मेरे को ऐसे thoughts आए थे. Then when I actually heard the script, I loved it. Like, I completely loved the script, and I felt like I didn't have the strongest part. I knew that the female part was the strongest part in the film, but I wanted to be a part of the film because I felt that it was a very relevant, new age love story where people were speaking like how normal people in their 20s speak, and not how, you know, people who are in their 40s acting in their 20s in movies speak. You know, they're two completely different things. At that time, I was in my 20s, you know, so I was like, यार ऐसे थोड़ी होता है, ऐसे थोड़ी होता है, you know, what are they doing, और ये चल भी जाती हैं पिक्चरें. So Imtiaz came with something which felt very real, very relatable, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, even though I know I don't have the strongest part, but it would be great to have this on my filmography, and I went for it. And it was giving me the opportunity to play a different character, which is something that I was always looking for, and it gave me that opportunity, so I wanted to do it, yeah.
And you know, you spoke about the character, I mean, how relatable it was. Another character which I think which has reached out to the interiors basically, and which has got you a lot of love is Prem in Vivah, which is Suraj Ji's film. Was it challenging for you to get into that world? Because, you know, I believe that is not something anyone in probably staying in Mumbai would have experienced. The kind of emotion, the way the film was made, the setup.
Picture was about arranged marriage.
हाँ, but
मेरा arranged marriage हुआ.
But
Did I think मेरा arranged marriage होएगा? No. लेकिन हो गया. क्या करेंगे?
Destiny.
Yeah. So, you know,
The lingo of the film was very...
यार देख, if I wanted to do who I am, I would not have this journey. You would be having a different conversation with me here. You know, I never wanted to just be myself in front of the camera. So the fact that it was something that I hadn't experienced, the fact that it was something that was out of my kind of universe of what I have been exposed to, is what fascinated me and drew me to that subject. You know, and I was very dependent on Surajji because he understood that world much better than I did. And it was very different from my world, you know. Like, I had never used the word jal in my life. I was like, but why is she saying jal? Why can't she just say pani, water, like jal? He was like, nahin, Shahid, jal. I said, okay, Surajji, jal. So that was kind of like how the journey was. But I learned so much from him. Because, you know, we live in big cities and we don't understand the heartland of this country. We don't really understand how people in smaller cities, in smaller towns, their life, their mindset. And so you have to go through that journey. If you want to connect with people, you have to understand them. You have to, if you want to touch their heart, you have to be able to understand their feelings, their circumstances, their reality. If you can't understand that, you'll never be able to connect with them. And this was my first experience, firsthand, because I remember, so just before Vivah, one film had come out of Surajji's only called Main Prem Ki Deewani Hu, which had not done well. And right before that, I had 3 flops in 1 month. Okay, I had done Shikhar, which was with Ajay Devgan sir, which was John Matthews, who was the director of a film called Sarfarosh. Okay, and it was a disaster. Then I did another film called Life Ho To Aisi, which was with Sanjay Dutt sir, and that was with Mahesh Manjrekar, who were a hit combination. वो भी flop हो गई. They must be thinking इसका luck खराब है. Then number 3 was an amazing film called दीवाने हुए पागल, which I don't think I ever saw myself. Seriously, because मेरे को I was like, जब समझ ही नहीं आएगी तो क्या करूँ मैं, अब तो कर लिया मैंने तो, you know, at least let's avoid seeing it. And all 3 flopped. So I was going through depression. I was like, one day I remember I was shooting, शादी का sequence था, मैं शादी के कपड़े पहन के बैठा था और सूरज जी मेरी वैन में आए and we had shot 8-10 days of the film. And I told him, do you want to change me? So he said, what happened? I said, see, in 1 month, 3 flops nobody has seen. Obviously people don't like me. Because this is with all the other actors who are all superstars and they're doing really well. I was the reason why they didn't want to see this film. And he just kept looking at me. And I'm sure he must have thought in his head, ये मेरा hero है, इसका state of mind इतना खराब है तो मैं picture कैसे अच्छी बनाऊंगा. So he just looked at me and he kept looking and then he said something. He looked straight in my eyes and he said something. He said, do you know what to do between action and cut? Do you know how to do your job as an actor? And I said, I do. He said, that's it. Just focus on that. Everything else will come and go. Since then, that's what I do. I just focus on my job success and failure come and go. I know my job. You know your job, you will survive.
And Vivah proved to be a blockbuster. Like,
yeah, that also is a funny story. So we were promoting the film all over the country, and we were catching a flight. I think we were coming back from Delhi, and it was one day before the film was going to release. And he said, Shahid ji. He used to call me Shahid ji. I was like, why does he call me Ji? But he used to call everybody Ji. He said, Shahid ji, अभी रिपोर्ट आई है फिल्म की, और अभी मैं आपसे ना 10 हफ्ते के बाद बात करूँगा. ऐसे मतलब सर क्या हो गया, मतलब 10 हफ्ते आप क्यों नहीं बात करेंगे मुझसे? नहीं, ये फिल्म 10 हफ्ते तक तो चलेगी और मुझे लगता है ये उससे ज़्यादा भी चल सकती है. सो ही हैड सो मच क्लैरिटी ऑन द पीपल दैट ही वाज मेकिंग द फिल्म फॉर, that he knew that he had tried to do something different with Main Prem Ki Deewani Hu, and this was him going back to his roots and doing a movie that he believed in for the people that he had always made movies for. And he had so much clarity of vision that just with one screening he just needed to know, is this film accepted or rejected? Because with him it doesn't work any other way. Either it gets accepted or it gets rejected. And the film had been accepted, people had come out saying they liked the film, and then he knew now that he had that much information, he knew what's going to happen in the next 10 weeks, and that's pretty much exactly what happened. So I guess he knows his audience in a way that, he just has that confidence.
I think the next one will again be a crowd favorite, Kabir Singh in Kabir Singh.
Oh God. I mean, obviously it's a remake, so I saw Arjun Reddy. Somebody had sent that to my house, and I remember me and Meera, my wife, we were sitting and watching the movie. And I saw the movie, I said, this is a damn cool movie, man. This film has done everything that you're not supposed to do in a movie. And still I'm loving this guy. Like, he's doing everything a nice guy is not supposed to do. I'm like, this is so cool. Like, how is this guy like this? And obviously it had been sent to me because somebody wanted to make it, and they wanted to make it in Hindi, and they usually do that sometimes. They send and say, would you be interested in remaking this in Hindi? And at that time, so many remakes hadn't happened. So it was not a very regular feature at that time. And my first answer was, there's no way I'm doing this movie. Because, this guy is a newcomer and he's done such a good job. So what happens is, when you see somebody for the first time on camera, whoever they are, their personality blends into the character that they're playing, because you don't know them personally, so you don't know anything about them. And so the way you accept them is like total, because it's the first time you viewed them, you've loved them, and everything about them is great because they haven't made their mistakes yet, right? So they're perfect, right? But then you discover they are not perfect, and then they make those really terrible movies where you're like, Arey yaar, I don't know why I like this guy only. Then they have to go and do a really good movie for you to say, nahi yaar, now I know why I like this guy, yaar, itna bura bhi nahi hai. You go through that journey. So I was like, this guy has done his first film. I have worked in so many movies. The way he kind of personifies this character, I don't know if I'll be able to, because people have already seen me in many different characters playing many different roles. And I finished my whole gyan, this is my reason, Meera, कि मुझे ये film नहीं करनी चाहिए. And she just kept looking at me, after 5 minutes she was like, just shut up and do it, it's the perfect film for you. So I was like, really? She was like, yeah, people love to see you in love stories. People love to see you in messed up characters. This has both. Just do it. So her thinking was so simple, and I had overcomplicated it for myself, and I guess it was right? I mean, I guess it was good I did Kabir Singh. So kabhi, अपने दिमाग के हिसाब से नहीं चलना चाहिए. People who really love you and care for you, sometimes they can see things for you in a way that you might not be able to see for yourself. So I actually just went with it, and it worked out really friggin' well for me.
The next one is Tommy Singh from Udta, Punjab.
Yeah.
A messed up character.
First of all, I looked at Abhishek Chaubey, who was the director of that film, and I said, "ये picture तू मेरे पास क्यों लेकर आया है?" He said, "क्यों लेकर आया है? It's a great character." I said, "Bro, मैंने लाइफ में कभी शराब नहीं पी है, आज तक नहीं पी है. मैंने लाइफ में कभी कोई सब्सटेंस नहीं की है. I don't know what it is to be high. मेरे को पता ही नहीं है, ठीक है? Maybe जो when you play a sport or something and you get that little adrenaline or whatever, मेरा maximum उतना ही है bro. उसके ऊपर मुझे पता ही नहीं है ये feeling क्या होती है." So he said, "Yeah, but I think that as an actor you can do this character, and I feel like if you put yourself to really be able to do it." And I actually went through a lot of doubt, because I knew कि मेरे जितने भी दोस्त हैं ना, जो who drink alcohol or whatever. मतलब इतनी बैंड बजाएंगे मेरी पिक्चर देखने के बाद, बिकॉज वो बोलेंगे यार तुझे किसने बोला था, जब तुझे पता ही नहीं है तो तूने क्यों कर लिया, यू नो. एंड आई वाज लाइक यार मेरी बेइज्जती हो जाएगी मेरी, मतलब यू नो इट विल बी रियली बैड फॉर मी. बट आई लव्ड द स्क्रिप्ट एंड आई लव्ड द कैरेक्टर, सो आई वाज लाइक क्या करें. देन इवेंचुअली आई टोल्ड माई सेल्फ, आई सेड इफ आई कैन डू दिस which I cannot relate to at all. You know, like chemically I don't understand what happens, biologically I don't know within the system what happens when you feel that. If I can pull this off, then I think I will be fearless for the rest of my life as an actor, because this is as far away from my reality as it possibly can be. And also it's a great role. I mean, if somebody else does it really well, I'll look back and be like, what a fool I was to let go of this opportunity, because how many roles like this get written? Usually it's just these nice guys, you know, who are running and like doing all this and I was like, ये acting वाला तो chance मिलता ही नहीं है commercial cinema में, ये तो character है, you know, I तो love it. So I did it. And
again, everyone loved it.
And why do you love it? Principal man पूछनी, why? Are you like that? Are you doing all these things? No, so sometimes if you want to evolve and grow, sometimes when you see something and you feel I can't do it, that's exactly the time you must do it, because that has been sent to you to kind of take you to the next level. Otherwise, how will you get to the next level? You have to go and run the impossible race to get to the next level or to be number one. That's how it has to be. So you should always take up a challenge. Always take it. If you fail, so what? You took up the challenge. You didn't run away from the challenge. Try again. But never give up a challenge. That's what I feel.
And the last one, I think this would be very special for you. Haider in Haider.
Haider is back! Haider in Haider. Haider is the most complex character that I have played. Haider is also the most challenging character that I have played, because everything for Hamlet, which is technically what Haider was based on, so he is our version of Hamlet. Every actor who has played Hamlet has said that they never felt like they were able to completely understand the character or completely express everything that the character went through. So I was again one of those people. I still feel that if I got another shot at Haider, or if we made another version of it, there's a lot more that I still could put out there in front of the camera, because there's only so many scenes and so many opportunities when you do a movie. But yeah, of course, Haider is the only film I've done for free, by the way. Like they told me that we want to make this movie and we need 5 months of your life, and we want you to shave your head and go bald, but we can't pay you. So I said, and what makes you think I'll do it? And Vishal sir just looked at me and said, because it's Hamlet and I'm making it. So I was like, I'm convinced, let's do it. That's actually how it happened, because they couldn't, if they would have loaded my fees on the film wouldn't have been able to, like, it couldn't afford me essentially. So as an actor, I wanted to do the film, and so I just did it for free. But see, the best things come for free, right? We always think like money can buy us stuff, but no, the best things come for free. And as you live more of life, you'll realize that.
I remember Amir sir saying this once about Sarfarosh, where he said that he would play the role very differently if he was doing Sarfarosh today. Is there any character of yours which you would play differently if you were offered today?
If I played it the same, I have made no growth at all. I'm pretty much stagnating in the same place that I was in when I had done that character. So any actor who says, I would have done it the same way, well, all the best to you. Doesn't seem like you've learned anything new to do. So I think that goes without saying. If you're an actor at heart, you have to express differently every time. I wake up different every day. The way I talk, everything is new. Our experiences are new. Our reactions are new. We have patterns, but the way we behave is new. So why should you play many years later a character the same way? You have to have grown from that point forward.
And Shahid, from the time you made your debut, that is 2003, till now, a lot has changed with regard to the concept of stardom, with social media coming
into... How has it changed? I want, he's this specialist critic. So I want to know, तेरे हिसाब से क्या बदला है? पहले तू मुझे educate कर, फिर मैं तुझे अपना ज्ञान दूंगा. पहले तू educate कर.
I feel social media has, made. पहले social media नहीं था. That time stars were not so accessible. In today's time with stars being so accessible, वो थोड़ा exclusivity चला गया. This is what I feel.
But change क्या हो गया उससे?
Easily accessible. When stars are easily accessible on social
मतलब मुझे तेरे शो पे नहीं आना चाहिए था. यहाँ पे मैं accessible होके ना गलती कर रहा हूँ. तू decide कर तुझे अपना career आगे बढ़ाना है कि नहीं? Do you want actors to be accessible or no?
I don't have an answer for this. I would answer.
See, just one time I flipped, put him in my seat and see, not so easy, bro.
It is difficult to
but
answer.
What has changed? No, it's a really nice question, and I think a lot has changed. But I would genuinely like to know, according to you, what do you feel has changed? Not just from a media point of view. Do you feel in terms of the kind of films that are being made, or the kind of characters that are being written, or the mood of the audience, and for example, the things that they have now started watching as opposed to what they used to watch 10 years back? Like, what do you feel?
I feel number one that theatrical experience has been very special. Like, because the prices are rising and all, people want to see theatrical big films in theaters. I think that is one thing which has changed. And second thing, maybe with regards to we are not making a lot of films which go to the interiors. I feel we are making city-centric films. These are the two things which I feel have changed.
How to make them go to the villages or the smaller towns? What will help? मैं सीरियसली पूछ रहा हूँ तेरे से यार, कुछ तो होगा तेरे मन में.
Universal emotions.
माँ का प्यार, देश प्रेम.
Yeah, I think that is relatable for people. I think across. Yeah.
ठीक है, मैं इससे आगे नहीं पूछूंगा. मेरे पास था बहुत सारे सवाल थे, but तू पूछ. ठीक है.
No, but how do you? What do you think?
From a commercial point of view, and we must understand that it's a different mindset. People who think about numbers and people who think about art, their brains are kind of tuned only differently. Okay? An artistic person who comes with a creative bent of mind will never want to do the same thing again and again and again. Otherwise, they would have been in a structured job. You know, the fact that you're seeking a job which doesn't have a desk, which doesn't have a daily routine, which doesn't have any kind of, so to say, you know, it's not a predictable job. It's a high-risk job. You do something one day, it works, the other day it doesn't work. It's very unpredictable, right? Creative people love that. They love the fact that they don't know what's going to happen, and that's what gives them that edge. That, yeah, man, let's do this because we don't know how it's going to turn out. This is exciting. Let's see how to make it work, right? And somebody who comes with a numbers mindset, because your question is films that are doing well, you know, from that point of view, numbers and all that. That person will always think, okay, this worked, therefore I must do this again. That's the way the brain functions, right? Both are right to some degree. However, Xerox copy nahi chalega. Xerox copy nahi karna chahiye. You must learn to understand what are the areas that people are interested in, but then you have to find something original to tell them, which they don't look at and say, "Arey yaar, aisa to wo bhi tha aur wo bhi tha aur wo bhi tha." You know, so the challenge is in finding a really nice middle between these two areas where you can express yourself and be original, but you don't. Like, I think it's very simple. If a filmmaker or an actor is making a film for himself, then they should not make commercial movies. Then they should, you know, fund their own movies. अपना पैसा डालो, अपने लिए बनाओ, घर पे बैठ के अकेले देखो. You know, that is what shouldn't happen. And a lot of times it happens. You know, creative people feel like, oh, this is what I want to express, and you know, this is me, and just like take it or leave it. And people are like, leave it. You know, that doesn't work, and it's not fair to do that with somebody else's money and with other people involved. Whenever you make a movie, you must make a movie thinking, who are you making that movie for? Which type of audience? Because सब type की audience है यार. आप खाने की बात कर लो, किसी को डोसा अच्छा लगता है, किसी को पराठा अच्छा लगता है, किसी को बर्गर अच्छा लगता है, किसी को कुछ अच्छा लगता है. Everybody doesn't have the same taste. Plus, there are a lot of people जिनको Monday को डोसा अच्छा लगता है, Tuesday को बर्गर खाना है, Wednesday को कुछ और खाना है. So it's impossible to understand exactly what the audience wants. You should do something that comes from inside you. You should make it for people. Your intent should be that I want as many people as possible to see this film. But at the same time, you should know who you're making it for. You know, if you're making a film for this guy, but that guy said, you know, I didn't like your film, which is what, say, for example, happened with Kabir Singh. I was okay. I was like, okay, yaar, I don't think this film was for this guy anyways. उसको समझ ही नहीं आई. जिसको समझ में आई उसको अच्छी लग रही है. So you develop that over a period of time, and you know, you go out and express yourself. That's how it has to be.
I think basically all kinds of film have to be made and cater to a certain section of audience. That's the eventual way of functioning. That's
लोगों का mood change होते रहेगा. आपको आपका काम आना चाहिए.
True.
And keep trying. That's it.
And Shahid, before we move on to fan questions and a small surprise for you, there is one last question. There are so many people who want to see you in a rom-com or a love story. When can we see you in that space again? Yes, I think so.
किसी ने हाँ नहीं बोला, तू ही अकेले बोल रहा है.
How many people want to?
I am doing a film which actually I've finished a film that's going to come out. अभी तक हमने टाइटल ही नहीं ढूंढ पाया, नहीं तो मैं ना अनाउंस करता, you know, this film of mine is a rom-com or love story. अब हम टाइटल ढूंढ रहे हैं हम. But yeah, that's what's coming out next, and that is kind of like a rom-com, but it's a rom-com with a twist, highly unexpected. No, so yeah, it's coming out. My next film is a rom-com with a twist, which has got me and Kriti Sanon and lots of songs and lots of fun, and yeah, so that'll be out sometime soon.
And Shahid, there's one small surprise for you. We have asked some of your directors to ask you a question with whom you have worked with.
Oh.
They are not here. They have sent their questions.
तू ही पूछेगा?
हाँ, उनके भी आप.
अरे वीडियो ले लेता यार, मुझे एक नॉस्टैल्जिया वाली फीलिंग हो जाती.
Next time I'll ask them for video pakka.
Done.
Yeah, 25 years back. The first one is from Abbas Mustan sir, with whom you did 36 Chinatown. Firstly, they have said please congratulate Shahid, and they have had a wonderful association with you on the film. Their question is, out of the movies which they have made, which one do you feel you would fit the best in? Baazigaar?
I love Baazigaar. That's it. I love Baazigaar.
They have given options as well. Baazigaar?
Option चाहिए ही नहीं ना bro, मैं clarity है मेरे को.
Okay, Baazigaar.
Baazigaar.
Okay. The next one is from Vishal sir, Vishal Bhardwaj. One thing you love about me and one thing you dislike about me.
Why is it always about him? This was supposed to be about me. No. One thing I absolutely love and hate about him is the opportunity that he puts in front of you as an actor. So on one hand, you love the fact that he has the confidence in you to think that you can do something which is extremely challenging. Because I think most of the characters that I have played with him especially were beyond my scope as an actor of what I had, shown the world or what I had been able to achieve. So he was giving me an opportunity beyond what I had actually proven. So I think that's something that you absolutely have to love about the man. And what you hate about the man is how you feel while you're playing that character. Because you just always feel you're not good enough. So during that journey, it's a very painful journey with a great result. Right? And I think some of the best journeys in life are like that. The ones that you feel take the most out of you, I think eventually also give you the most. So the roles that he's given me have given me the most as an actor in terms of the satisfaction or just the experience. I felt very enriched playing these characters. I felt like I found things in myself which I didn't know existed. And so I think, I have to thank him for that. Yeah.
The next one is from Ali Abbas Zafar, with whom you did Bloody Daddy. Please ask him what he enjoyed more on Bloody Daddy. Is it in front of the camera or behind the camera? And will he work with me again? And if yes, on what kind of film?
Ali. I loved everything about working with Ali, in front and behind the camera. He's a really fun guy, and we had a lot of fun doing the film together. He's a cool guy, he's a chill guy. And he's very collaborative in his energy, and it would always be fun to work with Ali. I would always love to work with Ali, and I would want to do a bigger action film with Ali next.
Okay, the next one is from Ramesh Taurani sir, who launched you in Ishq Vishk.
He is a producer, he's not a director. Just
he's a producer.
You guys didn't know,
Yeah. Why don't you do multiple films a year? The audience want to see more of you. Why are you so selective? You should be doing 3-4 films a year.
Even though I have been selective, I've done so many films which are not so good. Imagine if I was not selective, what would have happened? This is a great question. I ask myself this very often. But everybody's destiny is different. Everybody's life is different. The way things come to you will be different. I am an outsider in this industry from the point of view that my father was an actor, but I never told anybody that he was my dad. Because I lived a lot in Delhi and I came to Bombay later in life. And my father had always told me that, बेटा मैंने कभी किसी को ये नहीं बोला कि मेरे father कौन है. तो तुम क्यों बोलोगे? काम से दिखाओ. Let your work prove to people that you're worthy, not your name. So of course I have come from a family of acting, but my dad was the first actor in the family first of all. My grandfather, my Dadaji, was a professor in college and extremely supportive of my dad. Like he had an amazingly open mind at that time to let my dad come to Bombay and want to be an actor. It was like, what are you talking about? But he did it. Which also I would like to say is what education is all about. You don't have to educate yourself in areas that will not be relevant for you. You must educate yourself, find what it is that you're good at. Vocational education, whether it is within a subject or whether it is in the arts or whether it is in sport, you know, go with that. You know, you must finish your education. You must have a complete kind of understanding of life, and that education gives you. But don't be afraid to chase what you actually love. You know, you must chase what you love, and that's what my father did, and that's what I am doing, and that's what makes you happy from inside. You know, so yeah. So फिर से मैं भूल गया तेरा क्वेश्चन क्या था.
Why don't you do multiple films a year? That was Ramesh ji's question.
मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ देख, चेज मैं कहाँ चला गया. I'm trying to do as many films that I can, but मेरा क्या है ना, मैं मुंह चिपका के एक्टिंग नहीं करता. ये ना यहाँ पे मुंह चिपका ली, वहाँ पे शेव कर लिया, 2 दिन की दाढ़ी होगा कि तीसरी पिक्चर कर ली. मेरे को वैसी वाली एक्टिंग समझ ही नहीं आती. I like to do one film at a time. So I can probably do 2.5 films a year, in the sense that do half of it and then complete it. So that is the aim, and I'm hoping to do that. I've had 2 things come out this year, but I also can't get on a film set if I'm not passionate about what I'm doing. I can't go on a film set के पैसे कमाने हैं, घर चलाना है, चलो चलते. अगर किसी दिन ऐसा आया कि ऐसा काम आ ही नहीं रहा कि यार काम के लिए काम करना पड़ेगा, हाँ, बिकॉज काम तो करना पड़ेगा ब्रो, यू नो. अगर ऐसा लगा कि यार अपॉर्चुनिटी अब इतनी आने वाली है तो करेंगे, बिकॉज एट द एंड ऑफ द डे यू आर अ मैन, यू हैव टू गो एंड डू वर्क, यू हैव टू सपोर्ट योर फैमिली, यू हैव टू work and apply yourself in something, and you can't keep waiting forever for something that's never going to come. But at the same time, you have to be selective, and you have to hold on to that purity that lies within you, which made you an actor in the first place. If you're there doing other things for other reasons, why did you come here in the first place? So I didn't come here just to make money. I came here to live my dream of being an actor and creating compelling cinema, giving people moments that they remember forever, just the way I grew up. You know, there were films that I saw, characters that I saw that shaped my life, that shaped my thinking. That is what I must try and be a part of, and that is what my journey in life is about.
Thank you so much, sir. It
All
was lovely speaking to you, and thank you so much. Thank you so much to the crowd for being so energetic through the conversation.
She wants to do one dance step. Come.
Oh.